At least it works. Okay, it didn't transition. I wanted it to. So, how's everybody doing? It is a Tuesday, and we don't usually stream, but we're gonna be trying to off and on. We were just talking about like a new streaming schedule, something we can actually keep up with and do sessions and um, work on book stuff. There's all kinds of stuff to juggle. But thank you so much for everybody hanging out. Really appreciate it. We're gonna get to this box in just a minute because I have wanted to open this for a while, and uh, great restraint by not doing so. But wanted to talk to you guys about the show real quick. For those of you who are just showing up for Warhammer stuff, give me 2 minutes, I swear, and we'll jump right into it. We are primarily a D&D podcast, but we want to try and stream hobby stuff, and Warhammer has been the big thing for us for a while. The big thing that we've actually like had time to get into, and by time I mean we get to paint and put them together every once in a while. We haven't had a lot of time to play, but let's see here. Nick, what's in the box? I'm going to get to that in just 1 second. First of all, since 2021, we have been trying to up our game on the show. And obviously, switching to Cortex really wasn't for us. That didn't really work out. And we had changed our editing program, we changed our recording software, we changed, we went to all video, and I think some of that has worked out. I do like the fact that everyone has a separate track, and for the most part, we can deal with like real hardcore file corruption stuff or whatever. But we've been talking about it, and we think as of this coming episode, we're going to be switching back to an audio only podcast for the most part. There'll be behind the scenes video stuff for Patreon. There'll be streams like this. We'll try and do more visual stuff like that. But for the show itself, we think it makes sense just to do the audio side of it because as try as we might, we've tried YouTube for years and years and years, and we've just never really have been able to crack it. We just don't have the time to dedicate to that and video editing and all the other social media platforms and all the other stuff we got to do. So by switching back to audio, we can focus on the sound of the show, which is where 95% of our listeners are in the first place. And we'd like it to sound, we'd like to be able to pay attention to the sound of it and really kind of focus on Foley work, make it a bit more immersive and stuff. This last episode we posted, I wasn't very pleased with the sound of it, but it takes a week to edit all the video stuff, and then it might be seen by 150 people on YouTube. So we're going to switch back to it. I know that might be disappointing for some people, and again, there'll be stuff on Patreon. There'll be some video stuff there, but for the main show, it's just going to be audio. It's going to be pretty much just like it was before 2021, and we're going to see how things go. So that way we can run the 12 groups that we're running and still have time to actually like live our lives. So that's, it's a good news, bad news thing. I think you guys are going to be more pleased with the audio side of things after the fact. Like there'll be more sound effects, more Foley, more stuff to kind of keep it immersive. And yeah, I think you guys are going to dig that. Let's talk about Warhammer for just a second. So we got into the fantasy version of Warhammer 40k Age of Sigmar a couple of years ago, and slowly we kind of started like putting stuff together, getting into armies, and just like we've had a couple of like practice games and stuff. Then we had to move, and basically all hobby stuff went out the window until about a month ago. And Jameson got into 40k because of course he did. So we kind of pivoted. We never really got into the sci-fi portion of it, the 40K thing, because for whatever reason, like D&D, I looked at that and I don't know, it just seemed too dense. Like I didn't know where to start. And what we thought about doing was streaming an actual campaign of Warhammer, like a full thing, and building up to that, doing some videos about, basic, like what is Warhammer, that type of thing, basic lore stuff, covering the different armies. Because in Age of Sigmar, it's really clear cut. It's like the elves are with the elves, the dwarves are with the dwarves, that type of thing. In 40K, it's just a big mess. It does make sense once you break it down, but there are no good guys or bad guys in Warhammer. It's just all chaos. So I'm going to be going into a little bit about Warhammer and what it is and how to play and what we're going to be doing. But I'm going to be doing that as we open this box. This is the Leviathan box. It is a limited edition starter kit, essentially. Warhammer releases starter kits a lot. Thank you, Boogie. Thank you very much. And these come in all kinds of shapes and sizes. Sometimes it's for an army. Sometimes it's for a new edition. That's what this is. 10th edition just kicked off, just late last month. So if you were ever thinking about getting into Warhammer and you were worried about the cost, this is a good way to get everything you need to get started. I put it on par with getting started with D&D if you're playing in person. If you have no books, you're going to have to get books. You're going to have to get something to represent minis on the field. So this box is between $200 and $250 US. That depends on where you get it. Sometimes you'll get a good deal online. Be careful if you get something like this on eBay, because they'll post the whole box and then in a fine print, they split it up. There are two armies in here, and they essentially will kind of sell each half for an inflated cost because it's limited edition. Once these are gone, they're not making anymore. They'll be making a different starter set, which will be kind of comparable, but it won't look this nice, and it won't be, it won't be this. So we're going to be going over everything that's in this box. First, I got to flip it over and cut the plastic without hitting the camera. Oh my God. Okay. So on the back, they show you everything that comes with this, which is crazy sizable for what you get. Because usually Warhammer has a reputation for being expensive, and rightfully so. It is an expensive hobby if you have no self-control. So, having this much stuff come in a box, to give you an idea, if you went and bought the core rulebook for Warhammer, it's the same as going to buy a D&D book. It's $60. So it's basically the price of a new video game. And then putting together an army is pretty much, it's kind of like building a magic deck. In Warhammer, you have a number of points to spend. So if you're playing like a 1,000-point game, every unit has some sort of value. And basically, when you've spent your 1,000 points, that's your army. You can play as big as you want. 1,000 points is kind of like the default. You could play 500 if you want. It doesn't matter. As long as you have the minis to play and you have... you basically have a big surface to play on. A kitchen table's fine, that type of stuff. Or you can go as nuts as you want. The same thing with D&D. You can get all kinds of terrain. You can get lighting. You can get a fog machine. Whatever you want to do. It's a pretty damn cool hobby in that there's 3 decades of lore to get into. You can go as deep as you want, or you can literally go and say, oh, that army looks cool, and just play that. It doesn't matter. But to give you an idea of how much you're saving, if you were to buy these two armies separately, they would be about $180 each, somewhere in there. The starter sets are essentially just made for, oh, you want to get into the Space Marines. Cool. You can get into the Space Marines. That's $180, please. And it comes with a big plethora of different stuff. There's your larger units, your grunts, your commanders, that type of thing. And same thing with this side. These are space bugs. They're called the Tyranids, and that'd be $180. So right off the bat, with no documentation, no books, you're already saving money with the box set. So we're not sponsored by Games Workshop. If you wanna, Games Workshop, jump on it. Like, that's fine. We will take that money. You have taken enough of ours. So let's grab a pair of scissors. Ooh. We're being asked questions today. I think when I was in a team, Bree's asking, ooh, is this something we have set up? I know. Hold on. I know we're still setting the stuff up. I don't know if that's available yet. I'm sure it's planned if not. I don't know what that's in reference to. But yeah, Bree, you're welcome to just hit me up. Hi. Yeah, I'm doing it.
Awesome.
Yeah. No, just for the announcement, I wanted to do that. So
Perfect. You look beautiful. You're doing great.
thank you. So when it came to the unboxing, I was going to switch screens. Don't worry, you're not going to have to look at me the entire time on the big screen, because that's ridiculous. So let's do that. Boom. Hey, look at that. Look at that. It worked first time. Kinda. Hold on a second. That's too big. I don't like the size of that. Yeah, there we go. Okay, sweet. So, cutting the plastic on this bad boy for the first time. Oh, I love unboxing. Like, a few years back, I got into painting minis, and I've tried printing my own. I have never been able to get a 3D printer to work for me reliably. It's a full-time job, and I just do not possess the patience, I guess, you need for it. But if you can, it's an endless supply of cool stuff you can make. But I just love painting things. The only problem with painting stuff is eventually you kind of get to a point where you go, okay, well, I'm done painting it. There's nothing to do. I don't play physical D&D. I play everything online, except for a little library game we got going on for the community. But other than that, I don't, this is different in that you get to assemble them, you get to paint them, make them look how you want, customize them, and then you get to play a game with them. So that's pretty cool. That's the only thing I don't like about board games, is that everything kind of comes either pre-painted or kind of monochromatic. And here we go. Ugh. So, Games Workshop has a lot of flaws. They're a bit greedy. They have shut down content creators and made their own little Warhammer Plus channel. I am subscribed to that because it does help you learn the game, and it's like $5 a month. So it's basically a little streaming service they have. That's not cool. It seems like they're trying to get better in terms of value for money, but it's a company at the end of the day. Same thing with Wizards of the Coast. So this is just neat little placemat. As far as painting and everything goes, man, I'm going to do we're going to do streams. I want to teach Bree how to paint. I'm going to be painting her army, and there's so many cool little techniques and little things I've learned. I would love to pass that stuff on. But anytime you open a box of Warhammer, this is what you're going to get. It is a field of little plastic parts. And you'll kind of see that, hold this up to the camera, you can see that there are numbers. There's a little 2 and a little 3. These correspond with the instructions that are about 8 feet deep in this box. And I'm going to very carefully move all this. It's not going to break or anything. I just don't like to unorganize. Oh, okay, this is a tiny little thing they did, and thank you very much. There's another placemat thing underneath of this, so you can lift everything out at once. So, yay, I love that. So, the amount of plastic you're getting here, just this stuff, worth way more than what the box would cost. This would be probably around 330, 340, with nothing else in it. Like just the instructions to put them together, and that's it. All the rules are available online for free. There's specific army rules, like things that they can do. They come on little cards for like 20, $25 for each army. All of that is free on their website too. They're being very generous for Games Workshop in terms of, hey, please play our game. Like, I think that's pretty cool. I'm trying to pay attention to the chat too. I'm sorry that I'm not doing that very, very well. I gotta get used to streaming again. So let's see here. Okay, hold on. How are these in here? Oh, it's all one. Oh, it's all one thing. I hate that. Okay. Oh, okay, this is the book. Oh, shit. Okay, wow. So this does come with the core rulebook, but this is a special edition of the core rulebook. Bree has a copy of the regular core rulebook because we weren't going to get the Leviathan box, and it's like, but it's content. So this is a special version that has a campaign rule set built in. Oh man, that's cool. Okay, so I will say, I think Bree's bringing the core rulebook now. There we go. Thank you. So this is what the core rulebook usually looks like. It's, it does what it says on the tin. Same book, just there's a bit more in here. Which, Jesus, okay, hold on. How many pages is the regular core rulebook? It's only 220. That's pretty nice, considering I'm reading Pathfinder 2, and that's 600. So this is pretty nice. So I'm going to set this to the side here. And the Leviathan book is definitely heavier. And if we open it, it is 330. So just opening it up, that's the kind of stuff. Like, it is gorgeous. Like, the print quality is excellent. Everything you need to know about the Warhammer universe is pretty much in here. Every army is detailed, so if you ever wanted to find out what each army is, there's a whole bunch of stuff here. There's little stories, it's really awesome. Little cloth bookmark here. It's actually, even if you weren't going to play the game, but you're curious about it, pick up the core rulebook just to flip through it, because it's actually a pretty good read for a rule book. And this is coming from a guy who's played a lot of D&D. I've read a lot of rule books. They are dense as shit a lot of the time. Like, try reading Vampire the Masquerade. This is the instruction set for putting all this stuff together. And honestly, if you've ever built a Lego set, same thing. It's the same exact thing. There's a little bit of a decision-making stuff here because there's alternate pieces, and usually what they do is this is a much more straightforward set, but sometimes you'll buy a unit and it can be one of 2 or 3 units, depending on what set of arms or legs or weapons you give them. So it's all made to kind of be swappable. And I mean, well, once, I do see people do the magnet thing of kind of kit bashing stuff and placing tiny little magnets in so you can swap out that stuff and just have the different armies instead of buying new ones. That's cool. It is a surgery, because if you look here, I'll give you an idea of what you're getting into. So this is just this is the Space Marine side. So these are humans. This is an arm. So you see the size of my index finger. That's an arm. So you would have to flip that over, and where that hole is, these are actually snapped together, it looks like. That's fucking cool. Well, they don't usually do snap togethers. But these are meant to be easily put together. So you could drill that hole out and put a magnet in, and then where the arm would attach to a torso, you would put a magnet in that side. There's all kinds of YouTube videos to do that. I just like to put them together and have them be like safe and solid. But that's just me. These are pretty damn customizable. So okay, let's put this here so nothing gets. It's a pretty like pretty firm plastic, honestly. Like you're not gonna break this unless you hit it with a hammer. That's obviously tankish siege engine thing. So rulebook, it's even bigger than the core rulebook, and the core rulebook's 60. So this is, I don't know, they would probably sell this for like 70, 75, something like that. You got instructions. That's awesome. You got an ad to buy more Warhammer. Look at this. Don't use my code. This is my code. Play the game with the Leviathan box set. Report your results. Oh, so you can play campaigns at home, and they have like a who's winning the war type of thing, Space Bugs or Space Marines. So you can kind of register your game box, and then, you know, that's really cool. I like community stuff. So, very carefully, these are decals. This is a whole new world of paint. If you're into painting, these decals are great for fleshing out the look of armies, especially if they're supposed to be part of the same unit and stuff. And you can get as into this as you want, or not at all. That's totally fine. But these little decals can be a little tricky. So to put together minis, I think Bree took my kit, but I have just a little box with a couple of different sets of tweezers in it, some really tiny files to get rough edges off of plastic, some emery boards, some stuff like that. It's like a $20 kit. Thank you very much. So these are basic tools you're gonna need, right? So these little emery boards are invaluable because they come in different grits. There's a buffer in on the other one too. Just to smooth out plastic, you're gonna need a pair of these. These are just little snips. The sharper, the better. You want to keep them in good condition. Every one of the things. Oh, the campaign's finished, unfortunately. See, that's how quickly things move. Oh, thank you, DK. Oh, well, that's okay. It's fine. It's a neat thing. Not necessary. We're going to do our own campaign. Maybe we'll open it up to our community. I don't know. We'll look into it. Maybe we'll do like some kind of contest or something to welcome people in. I don't know. I would love to play at cons with people. Like, that would be really neat. So Games Workshop puts out their own version of all this stuff. Now, their stuff is expensive, but it's usually pretty good. If you want a guaranteed baller set of snips like this, they're like $25. That's where the hobby takes off and gets really expensive, because you get your box, right? And you go, okay, now I need something to put it together. They sell a special glue. They sell a special liquid cement. They sell paint. They sell all that. So what I'd recommend, just go to Amazon, spend $20 on a little kit like this. You get there's a little X-Acto knife and different blades. There's different sets of tweezers for stuff like for stuff like the emblems and all kinds of like little decoration things. And that's really all you need, is that, and like you can get super glue. You can get there's all kinds of liquid cement. Honestly, let me show you here. Most of the time, something like this, just a little thing of extra thin liquid cement, it fuses pieces together, it essentially melts the plastic. Sounds terrible, but it's only terrible if you try to take them apart again. You don't have to worry about that. So something like this is a great starter kit thing because this will last you forever. I think I've been through one bottle in the entire time I have been putting together Warhammer stuff, and I've put together a lot of Warhammer stuff. So you get a little kit like that. Paint is a whole other thing. I could do a special stream about selecting paint and getting all that ready. I don't know. Let me know what you guys want to see because I'm game. I'm good to do that. Oh yeah, the liquid cement does have some fumes to it. You want to be careful because it's pretty potent. Like have a window open or like a vent or something like that. If you get super glue, that's great. It sets really fast. You're probably going to need a couple of little bottles of it. You do want to have acetone on hand, like a cheap bottle of acetone from a drugstore. It's right next to the nail polish because that'll break up super glue that you will get on your fingers. You just will. You notice I've got this piece of fabric just from Walmart. It's like a 2-yard piece of fabric. This is the kind of stuff I paint on so I don't ruin my desk. Just little things like that. It's $3. Like there's so many ways to be cheap with this hobby. That's okay. So these are just bases. Um, there's so much you can do with basing minis. There's little terrain and stuff like that you can do. But on the whole, all you have to do is assemble the mini and put it on a base. Obviously, this is for one of the larger Tyranids. This is for the large the large mech for the Space Marines. And this is a special kit in that everything snapped together. So as you saw with the little arm and stuff I was showing off, these all fit together. You have a little glue, boom. These couldn't be easier to pop together. And then you're actually going to just pop them on the base. I don't know if they're doing that for all of the 10th edition stuff or if they're just doing that for the starter set to kind of get people ready. When I bought the Age of Sigmar starter box, they did the same thing, and it kind of got you used to where things are going to be placed and how things are like balanced and weighted. And then the next time I just started assembling armies and it was fine. This is for the campaign, I believe. Let's see what we got. Oh, this is another thing Games Workshop does very well. The print quality of their stuff is second to none, honestly. The stuff, I'm sure if you were to buy this separately, I'm sure it'd be $40, something like that. And it's these little purchases. That's it's not a little purchase. But these things add up, but they do last a long time. I have never purchased a Games Workshop thing that has just busted on me or been torn up or anything like that. So this is a breakdown. There's a moth. This is a breakdown of the actual the how to play the Leviathan game. There's a storyline for the Leviathan and what's actually happening, and it's they do extra books and stuff like that throughout the edition, the season of Warhammer, and there'll be all kinds of special. It's not just about killing the other army. It's like, oh, claim this piece of the battlefield, do this, do that. So there's lots of different things that they'll release like this. There's tokens and things that are just for nothing special. These are just little cardboard tokens, but like, again, I buy a lot of D&D stuff, and I've seen way cheaper. So I don't know. I appreciate stuff like that. So these cards are just for like setting up battlefield stuff. It tells you like, oh, here's where everything would be deployed. And these are almost like a board game, just little sets of random bits that would change a battle in the middle of fighting it. There's all kinds of setup. There's not just that, but I believe they included all of. Not sure if they did. So this is just for Leviathan. I'm not sure if they did, but the cards that go with each army are crazy in value. It's the same as if you play D&D and you play like a mage, the little spell cards you get. They're crazy useful, so you don't have to constantly look up rules. I have... Oh, I actually put them... Oh, so... I dig an army called the Sisters of Battle. And they're essentially an order of nuns that... nuns with guns. That's basically what they are, breaking it down. So these are the cards you would use for that entire army, and this was $20. So this goes over each unit in the game, what they do, how they play, and it's all at a glance. And these are like thick cards. So they're glossy. If you spill something on them, you can wipe them off. It's nice. Like I dig stuff like that. So that's just a super quick unboxing of, you know, what's in this box. You tell us what you want to see. We want to do painting streams. We want to I was going to record a video of just assembling these. Maybe I'll stream it. I don't know. Let us know what you want to see, and we are more than happy to start getting this out to you. And eventually what we want to do, obviously, is we want to stream or record the entire campaign piece by piece. I want to edit everything in After Effects. I want to make it as easily digestible for people as possible. And that's kind of another reason we decided to go back to audio for the show, is just because it just doesn't make sense to put that much time into something that only a few people. If you have been watching the show on YouTube, we'll still be posting stuff on YouTube. It'll just be with a visualizer or something like that, maybe a slideshow. Thank you so much for showing up to the live events when they would debut. And sometimes things just don't work out, but stuff will be available on our Patreon, and we very much appreciate anybody for going there, because that's how we kind of the lights on and we're able to do stuff like this. Now, what I'd love to do is over the next few weeks start putting stuff together, start painting it, get it ready, you know, and we could do this entire journey together, right? All the way through to playing a campaign. We'll do practice fights. We'll do little rules and lore breakdown. I would love to do that. I know Jameson wants to do like little special guest stuff. Bree's going to be streaming some things. So for now, thank you so much for just hanging out and unboxing this with me. I really hope you guys have a fantastic day. And comment in the Discord, tag us, let us know what you want to see, and yeah, we'll try to get it up as soon as possible. So, everybody have a fantastic week, and we'll see more of you next time. Bye, everybody.